Hey lessers, Voyager here. I often get asked to rank various Sawian subspecies based on things like intellect and cleanliness. And I've even seen other videos from our dear Hammerbro and Corels tackling the same subject, only in the context of which Sawians would be the preferred roommate. Though, that tier list was clearly very biased as I was not ranked highly enough at all. However, being a Voyager, I have the authority given forth by humanity to judge lesser Sawians in a broader, more existential sense. And so, I'll be doing my own Sawian subspecies tier list, giving the various Sawians tier-based rankings based on qualities of physical beauty, morality and ethics, reliability and intellect, and martial prowess. Rankings will range from S tier, going all the way down to E for extermination tier. I'll be quick and surely unbiased and impartial.
Okay, let's go.
Starting off with myself, Voyager, because this is the easiest one. Straight away we'll create an all-new highest tier, directly above S tier, which we'll name SS tier. And no, this new ranking has absolutely nothing to do with historical events taking place in Western Europe between the years 1939 and 1945.
Where you will want to start, huh? Do you have any questions, sir?
Yeah, well, it's top down. I'm fucking freezing.
So for the love of all that is holy, stop fucking calling me a Nazi already. It's insulting. Rather, what SS tier actually stands for is Super Sawian. Without a doubt, us Voyagers are the most pleasant to look at compared to all the other lesser Sawians. We're also humanity's favorite, meaning we'd automatically get S tier if we weren't also superior in all other aspects. We also understand that some of the lesser subspecies are irredeemable and represent a grave liability to the Sawian species as a whole. And unlike the others, we have the sense to correct the great cosmic error that is their misbegotten existence. Our only real drawback is that we're physically quite frail. However, one should remember that we're humanity's favorite, and we've been granted advanced cloaking technology in recognition of our superiority to compensate for our weak constitutions. We're also tactical geniuses on par with even the Milkies. Therefore, we have no weaknesses. We are perfect in every sense of the word, and we will be the ones to reclaim the lost tech and assume our rightful place in the bosom of humanity. Also, we're Sol 07, and that's a pretty badass coincidence. Overall, the Voyager race is one of superior culture, sophistication, intellect, wisdom, and grit. Therefore, it's only natural that Voyager assumes the rightful position as an SS tier Sawian. Nextly, we have the experiments. Experiments, also called XPs, are what I would call overrated. Though not enough to where I'd call them criminally overrated, but we will get to some of those later. I suppose it can't be denied, even by me, that experiments are pretty cute and somewhat endearing. And the fact that they're firstborn among Sawians, making them the template for all future subspecies, does work in their favor. However, experiments are weak, feeble. Physically and mentally, they tend to break down faster than the other Sawians. They're sooner to flee, rather than to stand and fight, placing more value in their own meaningless lives than that of their duty to humanity, failing in their intended purpose as fodder. They're also pretty quick to act defiantly against our benevolent creators, and usually come with a stultifying opioid addiction. So for all these reasons and more, experiments are a C tier Sawian subspecies. Up next we have orange. Another highly overrated Sawian subspecies. More so than even XBs, though still not into criminal territory just yet. Oranges are deceptively, quote, kind and gentle, though I suspect this outwardly passive and naive demeanor masks a much more sinister intention. One of malice and unfathomable cruelty. How do I know this? Because every orange that I've ever met is actually really nice to me. Even bordering on compassionate, which causes me to have a small existential crisis when I consider that I'm losing my edge and drifting towards befriending one of these lesser Sawians. So there's personal beef there. They're also very, very dim-witted and clumsy, making them a liability to any expedition which is actually trying to accomplish our mission. And only someone with a death wish would ever consider putting a firearm in their grubby little paws. Should also be noted that oranges are freaks, possessing 4 arms and lacking a nose, meaning even if one doesn't get you killed, you will be forever subjected to their incessant mouth breathing. However, despite all their drawbacks, oranges do have one big positive, and that's being highly impressionable, being easily indoctrinated into the correct line of thinking. For that most precious quality, oranges are C tier. Moving on, we have Milky. Now we're getting into the more challenging rankings. Milkies are fine to look at. And despite being a bunch of pocket princes, they are quite reliable due to their intelligence. And us Voyagers do appreciate their tactical genius. However, their genius brings with it some nauseating arrogance, akin to that of the average Redditor.
Enjoy your Dota.
They even have the audacity to claim intellectual superiority to us Voyagers, which is where they go very, very wrong. While that might be true in the cold, logical sense, us Voyagers understand what Milkies do not, that intelligence without wisdom is useless. Their intellect also makes them prime suspects for dissident thoughts towards our benevolent creators.
朋友是一个坚韧不拔的纪录片，在香港这座城市的设置，主演钱俄勒、鲁欧斯、福波斯伊、瑞秋、莫妮卡和一些其他他妈的演员。
While Milkies and Voyagers may likely forever butt heads intellectually, you could do a lot worse than a Milky. So I put them in B tier. Then we have Leapy. Oh, brother. Leapies could be most accurately compared to a UBTF2 player who picks Scout, gets 1 or 2 kills, and suddenly believes themselves to be the second coming of Babylon, when in reality, they lose 1v1s to vegans.
Yo, what's up?
While Leapies might think themselves to be the coolest things in sliced bread, the hard truth is that they're Zoomers who suffer from delusions of adequacy and a deficit of attention. And all that could be forgiven if they didn't have the gall to think themselves better than even Voyagers. And so this overconfident, detestable plant becomes our first entry into extermination tier. I mean, D tier? Next up is Chompy. What can I even say about Chompy? Their skill set revolves almost entirely around water, so they're most easily countered by just not going in water. They stink of fish, and worst of all, they actually attempt to empathize with the other lessers, likely in a desperate, vain attempt to justify their own meaningless existence. The only positive I can think of is that it's fun to watch their cartilaginous bodies flail around when you shoot them. So Chompy, I'm sorry, but you earn extermination tier. Though, Chompy can be considered to be at the higher end of this tier, almost crossing into D tier. But trust me, it will get much, much worse than Chompy. At last we arrive to the first criminally overrated Sawian subspecies that I mentioned prior. That's right, Roza. There's a lot of jokes I could say about Roza, but I don't want to get cancelled. So instead, I'll try to be as objective as possible. Rozas have Elsa powers, freezing whatever they touch. You might think this is pretty cool, but consider that an overwhelming majority of Sawians want a Roza body pillow. Sure, this might render Roza all but immune to freezing temperatures, but the majority of layers currently available are extremely hot. That means your Snowfox GF would melt before even clearing one of them. And I can already hear the lessers tearing Voyager apart. Oh, but Rozas are so nice, Voyager. Even you couldn't hate them.
Wrong.
Consider for a moment the origins of the word nice. It comes from the Latin word nescius, which means ignoramus. Ignoramus is exactly how I would describe Rozas, but that doesn't remove my distaste for them. However, Rozas do have one saving grace, and that's that they're pretty cute. Unlike the other Sawians, I don't feel compelled to gouge out my own sensory organs upon seeing one. But given that they fall short in all other areas, Roza is a D-tier Sawian. Next up is Baron. Unlike the other lessers on this list, I don't actually have that many negative things to say about Barons. They're obedient, very competent fighters, with a strong appreciation for loyalty and stoicism. Being one of the only Sawian subspecies that don't reproduce, one would never have to worry about interbreeding. The only criticism I have is that Barons are too tall. Only humans are allowed to be that tall, to better reflect their superiority over us Sawians. But, given that I don't have anything negative to say about them, Barons earn our first entry into A tier. Then we have, what's the name? Chik, that's right, Chik. Chik is your average lesser Sawian. The most impressive facet of a Chik is their rather generous ability to give every other Sawian a collective amnesia as they forget that Chik even exists. Anyway, talking about Chik is already putting me to sleep, so I won't bore you with the details. Just take it from me. Chik is a filthy, disgusting bug, and therefore an automatic extermination tier. Then we have Crystal. Crystals are, at the very least, honest about their conniving, reptilian nature. They look fine enough, appearing to be like living sculptures, and so long as they control that freaky tongue of theirs, then it's really hard to criticize them for their outward appearance. However, they aren't the most competent in combat, and they are rather nice to the other lessers, immediately drawing my ire. But to offset this, they do put on an aloof persona, which I respect highly, as any attempts to distance oneself from the lesser Sawians is a big win in my book. But then again, they are rather rebellious like the Milkies and XPs before them on the list. And so, for all these reasons, Crystal will join their Milky brethren in B tier. Oh gosh. Next up on the list is Velvet. Alright, my lovelies. Are you ready to smash that dislike button? Because I'm subverting all expectations and I'm putting Velvet right in S tier. Let me explain. I can explain. See, Velvet is unique to all the other Sawian subspecies, in that they bring us all together, even me, in mutual hatred and contempt for them. And that's quite the accomplishment, getting us Voyagers to seek kinship with you lessers. Such an accomplishment, in fact, that it's worthy of S tier, all on its own. Otherwise, Velvet is an abhorrent bug, worthy of nothing but contempt, with absolutely no redeeming qualities whatsoever. What? Hold on, what's this? Moving on. Next up, we have Icke, or I don't even know if I'm saying that right. I think it's Icke. I'm gonna call him Icke anyway, like the angel dude from Super Smash Bros. That they made a whole game about. Anyway, Icke is essentially just a Leapy, but worse. Every facet of their contemptible existence very clearly highlights just how much of a mistake they really are. They don't even have a PDA entry in CU, so clearly they're forgotten about. But Icke gives Voyager the ick. To even list their qualities would be a deception, because they're absolutely worthless and a complete liability, extremely dangerous, kill on sight, extermination tier. Then we have Shelly, another ugly bug that I won't even dignify with a character summary. So here's some AI slop to explain it instead.
I had a pretty good life. And then you showed up. You dangerous, mute lunatic. So you know what? You win. Just go to extermination tier.
I fucking hate Dunes. Words would scarcely do my disdain towards this bugman justice. Dune is the biggest offender when it comes to being criminally overrated, like I mentioned at the beginning. They freaking eat people. They eat people.
They're eating her! And then they're going to eat me! Oh my god!
And their barbaric acts of cannibalism are overlooked, even viewed as cute and endearing, simply because they're pathetically dim-witted. Perhaps even more so than oranges are. It's so bad that Dune has become a community favorite. Perhaps the community favorite. But us Voyagers are not swayed. The only good bug is a dead bug. No. No. Stop it. Stop! I should be the favorite, not you. Stop giving me that face! Ugh. Go to hell. Go to hell and go to extermination tier, you vile savage.
Just get out of here, you stupid, dumb animal!
And you. Yes, you. I implore you. Stop standing for this unhinged, friend-eating bug. Have you been so demoralized by the Milkies that you're willing to overlook this vile cannibal eating all of these other Sawians that everyone claims to love so much, even XPs, even oranges? This bugman eats them all. Have you been so demoralized that you overlook that just because he's stupid? Is that what we've come to? Well, I think it's rather fitting that none of you will achieve S tier, and Baron is the only one who gets A tier. This is the final ranking. Me, Voyager, of course, in SS tier. Baron, he's alright. He gets A tier. Milky's annoying. They think they're smarter, but they're really not. But that's not a crime to make them any lower than B tier. Crystals, they're fine. They get B tier. XP's disposable. Negligible. They get C tier. Oranges, same story as XP's, but perhaps lower on the C tier list. I wish I could put Leapy lower, but I don't want to get in trouble with his mom and dad again. Roza? Yeah, she gets double D tier. And then Chompy, obviously exterminate. Chik, Icke, Shelly, exterminate. Dune, exterminate twice. And I don't even want to touch this thing. This thing is an abomination. And thus concludes Voyager's Sawian Subspecies tier list. If you agreed with my rankings, consider leaving a like. If you disagreed, then you're objectively wrong, simple as. Us Voyagers are reasonable creatures, though, so do leave a comment explaining your wrong think, and I will tell you exactly why you are wrong. Thank you all for watching, though, sincerely, and God bless.